What up? Welcome into CHGO Bets Daily. I'm Cody, not Sean.
Let's go!
And I'm joined by the one and only Greg Braggs Jr.
I'm not Sean, but I can do my Sean impersonation here.
Put the hood up. White Sox.
Sox are ruining my life. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah.
Something about some bands I've never heard of. Probably.
I gotta turn this
music.
Okay, and then I go like this.
Yeah, you're very much. Yeah, you're now officially Sean Anderson.
I'm
Sean. Welcome. I think Sean didn't know we had a show today, but that's okay. He's going to be here for CHGO White Sox, which is what he's mainly here for this company. So credit to Greg Braggs Jr. for stepping in for him, because we're going to talk about the Bulls game tonight. We're going to talk about Thursday Night Football game. Thursday Night Football, it's always disgusting, but we always find a way to bet it, because if you are not, then you're just not a real degenerate like me. And then also I got like 5 college basketball plays. Tonight's slate's disgusting. Doesn't matter. Gonna bet it. If you don't have this mentality, then I just like I think you're weak. That's what I personally think. Sorry.
Oh, this is an exciting time, right? You got bowl season here. Mm-hmm. College basketball season's in the thick of it.
There's a lot of things to bet.
The Arizona-Alabama game, did you have money laid down on that?
I had the over last night, and I think they were on pace at halftime. It was 40-41, I believe, at halftime, and the total was 176, I think. And that's a high total, but I was like, I'm in, because Alabama, they love to shoot threes. They love to play fast, and so does Arizona. And
Did you make it?
They ended up being like 10 points short. So, like, they scored a ton of points, but still didn't go over, so I guess the people in Vegas knew something.
Yeah, it was high octane. So it's exciting, for both of us. College basketball season is one of our favorite times of the year.
I would say me and you are the two college basketball nerds in this office.
That's right. And we got the 2 best Big Ten teams represented with Purdue and Illinois. So we're going to be going through some battles this year for sure.
Yeah, looking forward to that game January 5th. Yep. All right. Well, let's start with the team that we do like together. Mm-hmm. The Chicago Bulls. They not only, me and Sean sat here and told y'all to take them to not only cover the 4.5 last night, but to win outright. And what did they do? They won outright, and they won outright convincingly. They did kind of let them back in the game in the third quarter, but then they pulled back ahead. They didn't choke it away, and they ended up winning by like double digits. So
yeah, this Renaissance Bulls team all of a sudden with the departure of, or seemingly what's going to be the departure of Zach LaVine. He's out right now with an injury. It's stunning, honestly, to watch this evolution of Kobe White and Patrick Williams and Ayo Dosunmu. It's exciting, to turn the corner, but is it real? I think is what Bulls fans keep asking themselves. But to beat a team like the Lakers, that's a step in the right direction as far as proving it that this isn't just a facade.
Yeah. So tonight the Bulls host the Spurs, 6.5 point favorites. So they're going from being a 4.5 underdog at home to a 6.5 point favorite. Last time the Spurs and the Bulls met up, the Bulls won 121-112. I think the safe play is to take the Spurs here. Second night of a back-to-back. Not you know how that goes in those second nights of a back-to-back. Bulls are at home though, and I was reading the Spurs are 10-23 against the spread their last 33 road games. Obviously, they're not very good. Also, Wembanyama is he's like a game time decision right now. So I would expect if Wembanyama doesn't play, maybe that number increases a little bit.
Yep.
So maybe if you want to take the Bulls, right now is the right time to do it, because I think everyone for the Bulls is going to play tonight, as in Caruso, Patrick Williams. Those guys were like game time decisions yesterday. They're not on the injury report today. The Spurs have, like I said, Wembanyama is a game time decision, and Keldon Johnson's a game time decision. I know he's a one of their top scorers. So I would say if you're going to take the Bulls, right now is the time to do it at 6.5.
And the Spurs just played a game last night as well, right? The Bulls are on a back-to-back, but I thought the Spurs played last night, or was that 2 nights ago when the Spurs played? I'm sorry for putting you on the spot here.
You're making me look really dumb, Brex. Come on, man.
Well, I mean, games are moving fast.
They played on the 19th. That was 2 nights ago.
2 nights
so
ago.
I was close.
Okay. Yeah, the Pelicans destroyed them. They've given up 146 points and 132 points
to the Bucks
in the last 2 games.
They've been giving up a lot of points.
Wow.
Yes.
So what's the total for this game?
The total for this game is 228.5. I don't know how to feel about the total just because coming off it's the second of a back-to-back for the Bulls, so I just expect tired legs. I would not be surprised if it's a little bit of a slow start for them in this game based off. I know they're playing well right now, but I'm still not fully a believer in that, like, they're back or whatever. As fun as it has been to watch them play. So, you want to talk about player props. I was looking at Kobe White because he's just been red hot for them. I also think maybe something on Patrick Williams or Ayo Dosunmu, if you can find something for Ayo Dosunmu. Ayo Dosunmu played 22 minutes last night, and again, second of a back-to-back. Maybe he gets more minutes tonight.
Sure.
But Kobe White, over 22.5 points. Since Zach LaVine's been out, like you kind of mentioned, Braggs, he has gone over. He's been lighting up the score, the stat sheet, right?
Yep.
He did not go. He had 17 last night. Put up 24 against the 76ers. The game before that, 22 points against Miami. So there's a half point short there.
A little bit of a Ben Gordon run.
Oh
here.
yeah. Oh for sure.
Like
he's definitely giving me like Ben Gordon vibes, except with an afro.
Yeah.
But he's been on a hell of a run here, and the books have caught up. So anyone who, when Zach LaVine went down or started sitting out, if you started betting on Kobe White, you have to be a rich man because I'm sure the market was low in him. Now the market has caught up, and I don't know. The reason that I like Kobe White tonight is they're going to need him to show up if they're going to win this game. On top of the fact that the Spurs, like you mentioned, their defense stinks. They gave up 146 to the Pelicans. They gave up 132 to the Bucks. And against point guards this year, they ranked 25th in the NBA in points against or points allowed to point guards.
Yep.
So with how hot he's been, I think that Kobe White could easily put up at least 25 tonight.
Sure.
So I'm riding Kobe White over 22.5 points. I think maybe riding something related to Nikola Vucevic is also very profitable. The Spurs are ranked 29th against centers in the NBA this year as well. So I think that there's, as far as player prop wise, there's a lot to look at here.
Gary Ross in the chat saying he threw down some good bets in the Discord. So
the sports betting Discord chat is it's an underrated place in the CHGO diehard Discord. I will admit,
in the CHGO world,
in the
CHGO land.
Yes, in the CHGO land. I stopped the last for 2 days because I kept putting losers in there. I've gotten back on track to being a winner again the last couple of days, so I was going to put in my. I've decided to start putting things only for the Discord in the Discord and things for the people on Twitter. So I have not put out my picks for the NFL game tonight, which we're going to get to here.
Yeah, Gary's got a same game parlay with John Morant to score over 30 points and Tyrese Halliburton to score over 20 points, plus 107 there. So
that's not bad.
And his Bulls same game parlay at plus 371 is Kobe White for over 20 points.
Okay.
Kobe White, 3 made threes. DeMar DeRozan to score 20-plus points. Vucevic to score 15-plus points. And DeMar DeRozan to record 6-plus assists, plus 371.
Okay.
So
I like it. DeMar coming off a nice game, too. I think you can – also, it's a revenge game for DeMar against the Spurs, too. So I like it. Let's go to the Thursday Night Football game. All right. As everyone knows, Thursday Night Football sucks. If it was up to me, we would get rid of Thursday Night Football. As much as I love watching football like every day of the week in the fall, Thursday Night Football stinks. It always stinks. But the only reason that I watch it is because it allows me to win money. All right.
7-7 versus 7-7. The Rams and Saints.
Yeah. As far as
Not only are the games been average, now the two teams are as average as you can possibly get.
right now, as far as the game itself, we got the Rams and the Saints. Rams are 4.5-point favorites at home. The over/under, I've seen it anywhere between 45.5 and 46.5. I got it at 46 last night. Whenever I went to bed, I was laying in my bed looking at Circa, and I placed the bet at 46. Under 46, because primetime unders on the NFL are cash cow. Over the last 4 years, over 60% of totals have gone under on primetime games in the NFL.
Wow.
That is worth every time. Just blindly doing it, I think it's totally worth it. You're making more than 50% of the money back, even when you lose. Yeah, so I'm riding that again, but outside of just
especially Thursday night primetime games.
Yes, because it's a short week and it's late in the year. You got a lot of injuries, stuff like that. But I will say legitimately for this game, I like the under because I don't know what you're going to get out of the Saints offense. They are very inconsistent. Derek Carr, I know Carm loves Derek Carr, right?
Yeah.
I don't get it. And I don't necessarily think Derek Carr is bad. I just think he's about the most mid quarterback in the
Right.
NFL.
He'll have a game like last week where he has 3 touchdowns, 250 yards or whatever, and then he'll have another game where he's pitiful.
Right. So that's why I don't really know what side to take. Like 4.5 points is a lot for two teams that are 7-7, and you don't know what you're going to get out of one of them, especially. Even the Rams can be like hot and cold, right? They've had games where they look like, oh, wow, they're back. And then they'll lose games that you're like, what the fuck was I thinking betting on this team? Rams, they won 28-20 against the Commanders last week. The week before that, they almost beat the Ravens. And then the week before that, they beat the Browns 36-19. Before that, they beat the Cardinals 37-14. So they've actually won 5 games in a row. And that's probably why they're 4.5-point favorites. But they've also had games where against Green Bay and they lose 20-3. I don't know if Stafford was back for that game, but either way, they've had some duds in there. They got murdered 43-20 against the Cowboys. They lost to the Steelers. They have some bad losses in there. It makes you wonder, like, who are they? And that's why they're 7-7. And the Saints, it's like before the game against Carolina 2 weeks ago, they were just falling apart. They were down 21-0 early against the Lions, ended up losing 33-28. Against the Falcons, they lost 24-15. Against the Vikings, they lost 27-19. Honestly, the Bears should have beat them the week before that. Like, the Saints have been the most like what they are, but somehow they're 7-7. I feel like the Saints should be so much worse than 7-7.
Right.
So that's why when it comes to spread, I probably lean the Rams, but I'm just not sure.
Well, and I just think, and you know me, always looking at everything through a Bears lens. I'm rooting for the Saints tonight because the Bucks. Because if you're looking at first round, the number 1 pick in the draft, and that's where everything comes back to in my brain at this time of year. The Bucks and Saints play each other next week, but it's in Tampa Bay. So that's a game that Tampa will likely win. Tampa also plays the Jags this Sunday. So I kind of need the Saints to win tonight so that that final week of the season, the Bucks are still playing for something because the Bucks play the Panthers the final week of the season. So we cannot have the Bucks clinch the division and they've got to have something to play for that last week so they can beat the brakes off the Panthers, thus clinching the number 1 pick for the Chicago Bears. So there's something at stake tonight.
There is something at
for
stake
the Bears.
tonight.
Technically, if the Rams won, it helps that whole strength of schedule thing that everyone's paying attention to. But you got to think bigger picture here, and I think we need the Saints to win so we keep that NFC South division still fighting for something.
That's fair. I mean, I would just based off that, again, 4.5 is a lot for two teams that are about as mid as they come. So I think the Rams are the better team, but on prime time, the underdogs are a cash cow as well. So Ant Pass in the chat says his locks for the week: Jets -3, Dallas +1, and Denver -7. Just my 2 cents related to what you have here, brother. I would just take the money line on Dallas just because you get the better odds. If they're +1, that means they're probably at plus money on the money line. What is that 1 point going to do to, save you money, I guess? the odds of them losing by 1 point are very slim.
Yep.
Just because of, how the point, like 3 points for
Sure.
field goal, 7 points for touchdown. So they play the Dolphins. Dallas coming off a really bad loss. So maybe they bounce back. Miami's looked really good, though. I've faded them too many times, and I'm starting to actually believe in them a little bit. Mm-hmm. Jets, I've bet on them way too many times, not taking them, but it is against the Commanders. They probably should win that game. Denver -7 against the Pats. Yeah, they're due. They're due for a convincing win. They've got pounded this last couple of weeks, so I don't hate it. But I would just take Dallas money line instead of the +1, because if they lose, they're probably not going to lose by less than, or they're probably not going to lose by a point.
Sure.
Just my opinion. All right. So I forgot to mention, related to this Thursday Night Football game, the Saints, the under is hit in 16 of their last 20 games. So if you want a trend or whatever, that's it. But their pass defense is very good. Their run defense kind of stinks. So I kind of, as far as player props, I kind of like Kyron Williams over 87.5 rushing tonight. It's a high total for rushing yards, but he's gone over 100 yards rushing in like 4 of his last 5 games. The Rams are running the ball well. Saints are not defending the ball, defending well on the run. So I kind of like that as far as a player prop.
All right. Yeah. Looking forward to it. That's for sure. Going to be on pins and needles. But if you're saying the under is the trend for the Saints and their games, and then the primetime games and Thursday night games of the under, I think the under is probably the safest bet there.
Yeah, I would play it down. I'd probably go as low as a 45, but I got it at 46. So if you can get 46 or 46.5, I think that's a great play. All right. Before we get out of here, 5 college basketball plays. Like I said, it's a disgusting slate tonight, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to bet anyway.
Purdue playing Jacksonville State.
Yeah, they're huge favorites.
Well, yeah,
like 30-point favorites.
Yeah, they should be.
They should be. You're right.
UConn lost last night to an unranked team.
Creighton. Yeah.
Well,
or no. Villanova. No, Seton Hall.
Yeah.
The Big East is going to be like, and I feel like UConn might give us the same vibe they gave us last year, where they dominated non-conference, but then kind of struggled in Big East play.
Yep.
But then got hot in March.
Their big got hurt in the second half, I think that's
Klinger or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's part of the story there. But hey, it just goes to show you, I get defensive. Purdue lost to Northwestern, but gives them shit.
But you beat Arizona though, so.
Oh yeah, Purdue's right back to number 1 in the country. So yeah,
everyone's looking at you.
30-point favorites tonight.
Against Jacksonville.
Should enter Big Ten play here in a week and a half or so as the number 1 team in the country. And as long as they're not playing the Rutgers out the gate, might make it to that Illinois game with still that number 1 next to us. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my 5 plays tonight, and if I were to bet the Purdue game, 33 points is a lot of points, man. I don't know anything about Jacksonville State or whatever, but I'd probably just stay away.
Go Jacksonville.
Sarah, you're gonna
really.
I thought I could sneak that
what
in.
We're doing here?
I didn't realize
Is that what we're doing
I didn't
here?
realize I got everyone's attention.
Okay. All right.
One of my plays tonight, Colgate money line. Colgate, not the toothpaste, the college.
Yeah.
Illinois just played them on Sunday. They actually competed pretty well in that game. They covered. I think they were 17-point underdogs against Illinois. They lost by I think it was 16. So they barely covered. They go on the road to Iona tonight. Iona, who doesn't have Rick Pitino as their coach anymore. I like Colgate because they've played a much tougher schedule compared to Iona. When you look at Colgate's schedule in 2023, I just mentioned they've played Illinois. They've played Arizona. They've played Syracuse. As far as Power 5 schools, they've also played solid mid-major schools like Harvard. And that's probably the only really major mid-major school. And they have hung around in some of those games. They did not hang around against Arizona.
Sure.
They did not cover against Arizona. But they've had tougher opponents compared to Iona, who has played St. Joseph, I guess, who's not bad. They played Colorado. Long Beach State is one of the better mid-major schools this year. It's a 1.5-point spread. I just like Colgate coming in after coming off playing a Power 5 school. Sure. I think that kind of benefits them, trying to avoid losing back-to-back games to at plus 100. I kind of like it. So I'm going to take Colgate money line. The other one, North Alabama. And you'll like this. North Alabama, I believe, plays Indiana tonight. And Indiana, I know me and you agree on this.
They screw around with everybody they play.
Yes. Indiana, I took Morehead State to cover the, 12.5 or whatever it was against Indiana the other night. Morehead State should have won the game.
They were up 17.
On the road.
Completely
yes.
Melted down at the end. And the hall of calls, if Gary's still in here. I like literally the hall of calls at the end of that Morehead State game. I mean, it was, but it's just funny to watch IU, to your point, every game this season. I mean, they have a good record, but they have had to battle every one of these games that they should be winning handedly, or at least on its surface, it seems that way.
Yeah. Well, and one of the reasons that I really like it, outside of the fact that I don't know how anyone could trust Indiana to cover that 14.5, is North Alabama. They rank 71st in the country in 3-point percentage, while Indiana ranks 235th against the three in the country. So they're a top 100 team against the three. Indiana is not very good at defending it. Sean Anderson has finally showed up.
Drug in.
Hello.
He's here.
I am here.
I was doing
my phone died on the way to tell you that I could not be here, I guess.
Oh, that's okay.
Sean Anderson
It's not that great.
impersonation. How does it look? Do I look like Sean Anderson?
Looks pretty good. I think it looks good, mainly because you got the hoodie.
Graphic? Yeah, that's why I put the hoodie up like you do. No, that's pretty good. I just don't know anything about gambling.
He's sitting here talking, and
maybe that is a good impersonation of you. Hey-oh!
I mentioned Indiana to him, and he just perked up. He's like, "Oh,
yeah, we can.
Can we slander
Indiana? Can we slander
together?
IU while Gary's in the chat? I'd love to.
Well, so like I was saying, Indiana has not defended the three well. North Alabama has been pretty good at shooting the three. They rank in the top 100 in points per game. Indiana is in the bottom 200, and we're outside the top 200 in points allowed. So their defense hasn't been very good. I just think that 14.5 is way too much for an Indiana team that you just don't really know what you're going to get.
Nope.
All right. And then finally, we'll go with UMass minus 2.5 against Georgia Tech. I bet on Georgia Tech against Penn State over the weekend, and boy, oh boy, was it a ref show at the very end. They should have easily lost that game to Penn State in the final seconds. They've turned the ball over way too much. UMass, I can't believe I'm actually going to bet on them against Georgia Tech, but I am, just because I think that Georgia Tech deserves a loss after their win that they just got. UMass has played, they beat West Virginia in their last game, so it's not like they haven't played anyone. Georgia Tech, they did beat Duke, but then they lost to Georgia the next game. So I'm just not I don't know what you're going to get out of Georgia Tech. I think UMass has shown a little bit more consistency. So give me the, I don't know what their mascot is. What are they? UMass's mascot?
Nope.
Okay. Well, UMass minus 2.5. So that's your one favorite for the night. All right. Thank you, Greg Bragg, for sitting here and listening and acting like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we try.
We try.
Fake it till you make it, baby.
Right. Yeah.
I'm no Sean Anderson, but I'm happy to hang out with you and talk sports always, Cody.
Absolutely.
Thank you to Sarah.
Thanks to Sarah,
Yeah.
our producer.
Clutch.
Yeah,
And,
it's a busy day today.
It would have
in
been
the
too
studio.
sad to just watch Cody sit here.
Well, I
by
kind of
himself
thought
on
that
the
too. I was
screen.
like, let's have someone else on. Yeah.
Well, I was going to talk to Braggs anyway somehow.
And then we're like, oh, we'll keep it short. And then the two most talkative people maybe in this entire, studio in the entire CHGO.
Well, it's
Sports.
3:15 now. I don't know when we started though,
Yeah,
so it's probably been like 20 minutes. All right. Well, we'll see you. We'll see you guys next week. Good luck on your bets this weekend. If you're a diehard, make sure you're following everything that we put in there for bets this weekend. Obviously, NFL slate, college football, college basketball. Just there's so much. So
much to go.
If you're a diehard, make sure you're in there checking it out.
Saturday NFL games. So
Yeah. All right. Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.